In this tutorial, we will be creating our widget for the unlocking and locking of the door, as well as making it spawn when we double press E. And when we single press E or R interact, we will attempt to open/close the door, obviously assuming it's not locked. So we can get started here. In our blueprint classes folder, I'm going to create a new folder. Actually, don't really need a folder. I'm just going to make a new widget here. We can always do that later if needed. It's going to be under the user interface and widget blueprint. Going to call this door control. And did we leave this with anything? No. So I'm just going to call it door control. Yeah, leave it as that. All right. Now, one thing I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and get a size box, which I cannot do right there. Actually, can't remember if I need a canvas panel or not. No, just use a normal size box. Right. Under panel, drag on a size box. Let's see. I don't know if there's much of a point in doing all that. I don't know. I really have no idea what I'm doing here. But let's see. So we need our little, let's see, we're gonna have 3 buttons, lock, unlock, and close for the menu. So I want that to be controlled, I guess, a grid panel. No, we're just gonna do 3 buttons and add in a border. Can you accept additional? Oh, so I guess a grid panel will be fine. I want to pretty much try to copy what all was done in the previous one because I do not make widgets. I'm not good at them at all. Let's put a grid panel inside of the border, and here we can drag our buttons. There we got our 2 buttons. So for the border, I'm going to change the color a bit. And I'm adjusting the wrong thing. It's the brush color. A bit on the darker side. I guess 0.5 is good. Just a little bit of transparency. What is it? Is it desired? Yeah, desired to see it. I want it to be roughly the similar size. That's 5 by 6. Cut that and do 5 by 6. We'll do 300 by 400. All right, 300 by 300. Keep it even then. We need, let's see, how to orient this. No, what, put them on top of one another. Can do that by doing, nope, doing that. And I don't actually need that for the row. Just get rid of you. Then we need a third button. So the grid panel, let's add a third row. Then it'll be even there. And we can add some text to them. Call this unlock. And let's actually give it just a little better color. Make it straight black. Copy, paste, and paste. Call that one close. And call this one lock. Now let's give our buttons a name. So this one's going to be b_unlock, b_lock, and b_close. That's good enough for me to care about. I'm going to go ahead and just add the on-clicked events for unlock, lock, and close. We do not need it to be ticked. Don't care about that. Not sure if I want to do anything in the constructor, so I'm going to leave that. And I think that'll be fine for now. So now we're going to be doing essentially this again, but just for our door widget. So let's go ahead and find where we have our inventory widget variable. Right here. Copy this, paste it down again, call this one door widget class, and door widget. Now let's copy this here, do it again, call this one door reference, and door widget class. Now we need to get a reference to the widget, so we can right click on our door control, go to copy reference, and paste it in here. And pretty much you're going to be starting from the first / until that period. Well, just one character before the period. And that should give us a reference to our door just fine. And I guess now we can create it and add it to our viewport. So do it on our interact. We already know it's fine, so we don't need to do that. Now here's where I want to make the change. I'm going to go ahead and do if was double click. I want that to be the first comparison. Otherwise, run the rest of this stuff like normal. So if it was double click, we want to bring up our door menu. So I'm going to create a new function for it. Do that right above that. Void guess open door widget. Good enough name. Create our definition. It's going to be right above double interact. So we're going to call open door widget if it was a double click. Which we also first need to double check if we are casting into a door. So if cast a door from actor. We're going to be expanding on this, so I'm going to actually go ahead and just enclose it in braces. Then we call our open widget, and we're going to be doing essentially this. So we have our door, well, if door widget, and another thing we checked if it was inside the viewport. So if it is, we remove it, and we return our controller to our like our input to where we have our game movement, so we can move around and stuff like that. So if door widget, meaning if it's valid, so we do that comparison first. If it's not, it's going to automatically fail and not run the second condition. So if door widget and door widget is in viewport, then we will remove it. So door widget remove from viewport. Then we want to get our player controller. So if a player controller p controller equals, we're going to cast a player controller from this get controller. So we got our player controller. Now we can set our input mode just like before. No, also we're going to do our mouse cursor. I actually forgot about that. Actually, this is a better route to go than doing a manual cast. So we're going to do get controller cast, or yeah, just get controller and then cast it. I'm an idiot. Cast to player controller. So now we set our mouse cursor. So p controller, b show mouse cursor equals false, and p controller set input mode to, what was it? F input mode game only. Just like so. All right, constructor. Now if any of this fails, we're going to spawn it. So we can do, was it just, we have our door widget equals create widget. It's going to be of a user widget. First parameter, routing object, get world. Then we have our actual class, so door widget class that we're going to create. Now if we can check if it is valid, so if door widget, then we add it to our viewport. So door widget add to viewport. Then we do the exact same thing again with our player controller, except this time we show our mouse cursor and we set F input mode game and UI. And this should allow us to toggle between opening and closing when we double press E. All right, let's see if it crashes. Yeah, figured. It's pretty much expected at this point. All right. Double press E, nothing comes up. Double press E, and our menu comes up. Double press E again, it closes. That is an ugly spot to be at. But our menu does in fact come up. We can still move around and stuff like that. So I think what I'm going to do when we press unlock and lock, first of all, it's going to call server functions. So we're going to check if the actor ourselves is a certain distance from the door. So if we are, I don't know, about this distance away from the door, then we will in fact we will allow it to run through, or we can do a line trace again if need be. But I think it's going to be probably just simpler to do a uh, distance between us. So gap from here to here. It's like 500 centimeters or something like that. Go ahead and restore it. Not exactly sure how to put you in the center, but I'll do that later on. So let's go ahead and go through what we've done. Right, so we have our door control widget, which is our simple little crappy menu there. And when we do our double click, if it is a double click, we will do that comparison there, which we will check if we hit a door. And if we did hit a door, we will call our open door widget function, which is right here. Now this is going to be running strictly on the client, as I don't think there's any point in doing a check on the server. Just open the menu if we're going to have checks in the future to simply, well, that are going to be running on the server anyhow to prevent any sort of real cheating, since the client does not have the authority in this case to do anything such as locking or unlocking of the doors. Well, same goes for opening. So first we check if the door widget variable is valid. If it is, then we check if it's in the viewport. Or, well, if it is valid, meaning it's like open, well, it has a valid reference, it's not a null pointer, which will allow us to run this, because otherwise, if door widget was null and this ran, you would have a crash. So if door widget is not a null pointer, we check if it's in the viewport. If it's in the viewport, we remove it from the viewport and we hide our mouse and set our input mode back to being the game only. So we can move around, jump, and all that kind of stuff a lot cleaner, just like as if we never did anything. If this is false, we will create the widget and add it to our viewport to bring it up on our screen, in which case we will then show our mouse cursor and set our input mode to game and UI, which allows us to click on the buttons and all that and still kind of move around and stuff like that, which I personally like. So in the next video, we will probably clean up the widget just a little bit to make it look a tiny bit nicer, as well as we will add the functionality for unlocking and closing. And yeah, we'll probably do locking as well. I may end up doing those in separate videos to keep them very short. So I will see you in those.